Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto's team stayed together. This story is made by Chelsea-chee, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Naruto's POV. I gasped. I couldn't believe what I saw, or was seeing. There was my girlfriend, in the hands of that V, and worse, they were making out. Now I know that Sakura was having a hard time figuring out her emotions for the two of us, but damn it. She is my girlfriend, and I'm not giving her away to Sasuke. I let out a small growl, my fists clenching. Naruto. It's not what it looks like. Sakura yelled out to me, her arm outstretching towards me. Oh yeah right. I spat back at her. She would have ran into my arms. I knew she would. And would have gladly let her. After all, I still loved her. But that B grip on her waist tightened, telling me body-wise that she was his, and she wanted him, not me. Was he wrong? My anger soon s down quicker than I thought, my heart aching at the scene, making my emotions throb with sadness, no matter how mad I wanted to be at the moment. My eyes wanted to cry, as me. But I couldn't. Not in front of Sakura-chan. Not in front of him. I dropped the box in my hand, the contents falling out of it. I loved Sakura-chan so much, it hurt. I planned to give her diamond necklace, for our 1-month anniversary. She would never have believed that I remembered. But I remember everything that has to deal with her. With us. The necklace was one more step towards my goal of marrying her one day. I knew she would have loved it. Every part of it. But now, I just couldn't do it. Now after what I saw. Sakura, I loved you. How could you? I said to her, to them. Yes, I said loved. I still love her, I always will. But will she always love me? That's what I have to find out. Naruto please. Just listen. She yelled to me again, but I couldn't. I'm sorry, I said quietly, almost too quiet for me to hear, but I didn't care. I turned and ran, out of the house, and out of her life. Forever. Sakura's POV. I knew Naruto was there. I could feel him. I knew he would find me. But I would have never thought it would have been this fast. I had pulled away from Sasuke when I heard him, seeing his face, a mixture of anger and hurt. Naruto. It's not what it looks like. I said to him, reaching out to him while trying to reach out of Sasuke's grasp, but his arms tightened more around my waist, pulling me closer to him more than I already was. Oh yeah right, he said back to him, his voice different than it usually sounds towards me, harsh and like acid stinging my skin. I never meant for any of this to happen. I didn't mean to break his trust. But my emotions for the two of them were driving me crazy. I went for a walk and wound up finding Sasuke, and somehow, we ended up like this. I heard, and saw, whatever Naruto was holding his hand, he dropped. I gasped whenever I saw it. A diamond necklace. He remembered. I would have cried, but I couldn't. I would have ran into his arms, but I couldn't. I couldn't do anything. And now I feel worse. Sakura, I loved you. How could you? He said to me, his voice barely above a whisper. That broke my heart. He doesn't love me anymore. Naruto please. Just listen. I yelled to him. He couldn't mean that, could he? He never answered me as he turned and ran off. I had to find out, if he really didn't love me anymore. That was it. I didn't care about Sasuke anymore as I finally got out of his grasp, and ran out after him, calling his name. Now I think I know who I really love. Sasuke's POV. I smirked. Everything was going according to plan. Sakura's POV. I skipped happily down the street. Can you believe? Skipped. Man, I haven't done that since I was a little kid. I had a reason to though. I was happy. Really happy. Because Sasuke-kun asked me out on a date. A date. Him. Asking me. I stopped. Wow. I thought this would never have happened. I giggled some and continued skipping. Man, I really was happy. I looked up to see that I was almost at our meeting spot because I saw Naruto and Sasuke-kun waiting. And it seemed that they were fighting. Again. Sigh. Nothing new. Hey Naruto, hey Sasuke-kun. What's up? I said as I walked up to them. Couldn't be an idiot skipping in front of them, could I? Hey Sakura-chan, Naruto yelled, turning around to smile and wave at me. I smiled slightly and waved back, then looked over to Sasuke-kun. He simply did a small smile and nodded his head towards me. Sigh. I quickly jumped out of my thoughts as I asked him, "So Sasuke, ready for our date tonight?" "Yeah, I am," he said, stuffing his hands into his pockets. That moment was the highlight of my life until. Hey Sakura-chan, why are going out with that guy? He's never nice to you, and you deserve someone better. Naruto said to me. More like yelled. At least I'm better than you, the Uzumaki idiot, he said in return, and I giggled some at the comment. What? It was funny. Naruto growled at him. Why'd I? Oh great. Now how would I stop them? If you'll K yourselves before the mission, I won't have a team to do it. Sakura can't do it all by herself, you know. Thank goodness Kakashi-sensei came in before I had to. Fine, Naruto said, crossing his hands across his sea while turning his back to us. Come on you guys, we have work to do, Kakashi-sensei said while walking off, Sasuke-kun close behind. I followed right after him, then Naruto leaning the back. Now there was only one problem left. What am I gonna wear tonight? Naruto's POV. I had heard the news, but I couldn't believe my ears. Kiba must have been lying when he said that. Either that or something must have happened to the real Sasuke because this wasn't him. He would never go on a date with Sakura-chan, nor the person to ask. He doesn't like her that way. I gritted me teeth together, my fists clenching as I looked at him. What? He said, sounding annoyed as he looked back at me. Don't play with Sakura-chan's feelings. It was a simple enough statement, but he couldn't seem to grasp it. What are you talking about, you idiot? Don't give me that BS. I yelled at him. I was not in the mood for anything he had to say. My sudden outburst must have surprised him, but he soon replaced it with a smirk. You're jealous, he said. That you've asked her out plenty of times, and got rejected, while I can bring her to her knees. Just by asking her out. I'm just worried about her well-being. I shoot back at him. But he was right. He was jealous. I wanted to punch him so hard and so bad. I really did. But only one voice could stop me from doing so. Hey Naruto, hey Sasuke-kun. What's up? My anger s down instantly as I turned around to place a smile on my smile and waved to her. Hey Sakura-chan. I yelled to her and she smiled and waved back some. Answer a moment, I was happy. So Sasuke, ready for our date tonight? My heart broke at that. Yeah, I am. Is inside at that moment. Hey Sakura-chan. Why are going out with that guy? He's never nice to you, and you deserve someone better. I said to her. Maybe, just maybe, I could get through to her. At least I'm better than you, the Uzumaki idiot. And she laughed. At me. It may have been just a giggle, but it still hurt my pride. I soon turned that into angry towards Sasuke as I growled at him. Why'd I started to say, but Kakashi-sensei stopped me from doing whatever I was going to do. If you'll K yourselves before the mission, I won't have a team to do it. Sakura can't do it all by herself, you know. Fine, I said, turning my back to all of them. I was hoping that Sakura-chan would try and get me to turn around. But she never did. And soon, it was time to go. Sasuke's POV. I must have been out of my mind, asking her out. My plan was to keep her guessing, wondering if I liked her or not. And now I had to ruin it. Now she'll know I like her, and it'll be more confusion in my already confusing plan. But I always like a challenge. And I could tell Naruto was not happy about it. 1. He likes Sakura, so that's a given. And 2. He was just staring at me, grinding his teeth together, which was getting annoying. Fast. What? I said to him, making him stop. Don't play with Sakura-chan's feelings. I would have laughed in his face, but I managed to keep it in. Playing with her feelings. Now, why would I don that? He must not actually believe that I like her. Not that anyone should think so anyways. What are you talking about, you idiot? I started to say, but he stopped me. Don't give me that BS. He yelled at him. Yeah, he's pissed at me all right. Man, I did not expect him to say that. I replaced my surprise with a smirk quickly, but I knew he saw it. You're jealous, I said to him. That you've asked her out plenty of times, and got rejected, while I can bring her to her knees. Just by asking her out. There. That was a great comeback. I'm just worried about her well-being. He shot back. And that was not. Lightning practically shot through the air and I knew he wanted to hit me so bad. And he would have if it weren't for. Hey Naruto, he Sasuke-kun. What's up? He instantly turned around, smiling and waved to her as he said hi. I just silently nodded and a small smile her way while he was turned around so he wouldn't see me. I could feel her melting like butter at it. Oh, I was good. So Sasuke, ready for our date tonight? Yeah, I am, I replied, knowing that it would break Naruto's heart even more than it already was. I watched Naruto begin to protest about me not being enough of a good guy for her, that I don't care for her, which I do, and blah, blah, blah. At least I'm better than you, the Uzumaki idiot. Her little laugh out of my comment made my ego grow more, knowing that it would just hurt Naruto more in the end. He started growling at me now, but before he could even do anything, Kakashi appeared. He stopped Naruto from his little hissy fit, which I'm glad. It was giving me a headache. And finally, it was time to go. God, I hope this goes by fast. Sakura's POV. I hated this mission. Well, it wasn't really the mission I hated. It was what we had to go through to get to it. Mud. 6 feet of the stuff. I shuddered. It was so gross. EWW. I took a shower the second I got home. And now I feel much better. Now, what would I wear to Sasuke-kun's and my date? I think I'll take my usual outfit, and see it in half, making a stylish top, showing off my stomach, and a skirt, since I wear shorts underneath. I'll also wear my new pink boots that I bought. And it's not that cold, so I won't bring a jacket. I ran to my full-length body mirror and turned around it looking at myself. Ooh, I look hot. And Ina Sakura agreed with me. Damn, she said. I turned to look at my clock. Oh man, now I'm going to be late. Author's POV. Sasuke waited close by a bench for Sakura, his date, to arrive. When he saw her running up, he couldn't take his eyes off of her. He thought to himself, she looks hot. Sasuke held out his arm for her to take and she did, linking it with his and holding his hand, intertwining her fingers with his. They smiled at each other as they walked off to the place where Sasuke had planned the date, not noticing the pair of red eyes that were watching. Naruto's POV. I watched the date. I watched her. I didn't want to, but I guess Kyuubi wouldn't let me, for some strange reason. She seemed to be having fun. She probably was. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe not. Sigh. I'm not really sure anymore. As more time went by that I watched her, the more she seemed to be having. She was smiling, laughing. And Sasuke wasn't even doing anything that was funny. I could feel myself growing sadder not just by watching him, which is immorally wrong in the first place, but by what Sasuke had said to me. You're jealous, that you've asked her out plenty of times, and got rejected, while I can bring her to her knees. Just by asking her out. Sure, it wouldn't have affected me as much as it usually did, as I was used to Sakura-chan rejecting me. But for some reason, them going out, I just feel different if someone talks like I'm not right for her. Or something only those lines. Maybe I should talk to her afterwards, I thought to myself before I jumped out of the bushes, leaving him alone for the rest of the date. Sakura's POV. That date, the date, was amazing. I loved every minute and everything about it. And Sasuke-kun was the best thing about it. He couldn't walk me home, however. He said he had things to do, but I think he was just embarrassed to be seen walking me home. How rude. We sit in a restaurant for 2 hours, eating and walking, and he's embarrassed by a little something like that. Sigh. I'll never understand why he's like that. I continued my lonely walk home, the sky seeming to grow darker by the minute. Then, the wind started to blow, and I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to keep warm. Man, it was warmer earlier. Why did this have to be the cold night, when I'm walking home alone, tonight of all nights? I rubbed my arms, hoping it would get me warmer, but it didn't help much. Then, I felt warmth overcome around my shoulders. Someone had given their coat to me. Ah, Sasuke-kun, I knew you would come back to me. But then, he spoke. Here you go, Sakura-chan. Naruto's POV. I had just finished 10 bowls of ramen, and was walking out of the shop, when the wind started to blow. Man, I felt bad for anyone that doesn't have a jacket. Then, I saw Sakura-chan walking home alone, shivering. The barker left her. I started growling. How could he leave poor Sakura-chan and not walk her home? I soon stopped my thoughts as I remembered that she was probably freezing. I silently ran up to her, not wanting her to know that I was here. I hastily unzipped my jacket and slid it off my shoulders, my cold wind nipping at my skin. I placed on her shoulders, not speaking yet, from fear that she would reject it because it was me. She probably thought that it was Barker, that he came back for her, which hurt me more than I already was. Why should I be surprised? I shouldn't. Here you go, Sakura-chan, I finally spoke, my hands still holding it on her shoulders so it wouldn't fall off. She grabbed the jacket by the sleeves and turned around, looking at me. Naruto, she said, surprised. I smiled at her. Yep, that's me. She smiled back at me before looking at my black t-shirt that I always wear under my jacket. She started to shake her head. No, Naruto, I can't take your jacket. You'll get a cold for sure just wearing a t-shirt. I'll be fine, she said to me, starting to take off the jacket. I grabbed her arms where the jacket had started to slide off and pulled it back up, covering her. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Take it, I said. She seemed to be deep in thought about the matter before she nodded, agreeing with me. Okay, but at least come back to my place to warm up as payback. The idea of coming to her house, her inviting me there, made my heart jump start back into life just to soar. I smiled to her as thanks, not wanting to seem too happy about the matter. She didn't need to say anything more as she turned back around, fixing to lead me to her house. When she started walking, however, I saw that her foot was caught on a crack and she tripped. I quickly ran in front of her to catch her, grabbing her by the waist so I could stop her from falling. Well, I didn't expect the force to be so great. As soon as I grabbed her, she pushed on my seat, still falling, and we both fell on the ground. We just stayed there for a while. I was still paralyzed and she was probably catching her breath. I could feel my back getting cold from lying on the ground, but I barely felt it, as my seat was warm from Sakura's body heat on top of me. Her head had fallen in the crock of my and now, she lifted it up to look at me, her hair falling around both our faces, shielding it from the outside world. I looked into her green eyes, which were looking very surprised back at me. Naruto, she whispered, feeling her breathe on my face, tickling me. And then, something happened to me. It was as if I couldn't control myself anymore and I soon found myself Sakura. My eyes were closed, but I could feel her looking at me with wide eyes. At first, she didn't respond to it. Just stayed there. But then, I think something happened to her as well, because she would never call me back. Even harder than I was doing. I began to use tongue, pushing past her lips to taste her, my tongue tangling with hers. My arms wrapped more around her, if that was even possible, pushing her more up against my seat. I no longer cared that my back might be freezing. Everything felt warm to me as I wrapped my legs around hers, bringing our hips together. She bucked up against me when I did that, making me press myself more against her. And all the while, we were still making out, taking small breaths each time we parted for just a second, ourselves like we were lovers. I realized what I was doing, nonetheless in the middle of the street. I pulled away from her, seeing her blushing face, and feeling her pant on my face. I wanted to continue, but I just couldn't. Not here. Not when Sakura-chan doesn't feel the same way. I respect her too much. We got caught in the moment of being teenagers with raging hormones, needing a way out of it. That had to be it because I knew she wouldn't have done unless that was the case. Sakura-chan, I managed to get out through my pants. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know what came over me. I saw her face grow sad, and I knew that she had enjoyed it as well. I also saw that she must have realized what we were doing as well, because her face was as pink as her hair. She nodded and slowly got off of me, the feeling of warmth leaving me as the cold air hit my skin. I now realized how warm it had been with her on top of me. I then got off the ground myself and stood up, dusting myself off. I looked over at her, who hugged my jacket closer to her. I smiled warmly at her. Come on, let's go inside. Sakura's POV. I have no idea what happened. One moment, Naruto's giving me his jacket, which is very comfortable by the way. And it smells like him too. And ramen of course. Whoa, wait a minute. I'm not falling for Naruto, am I? No, of course not. That's insane. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Then, after inviting him over as payback, yes, I do believe I have gone insane, to tripping over a crack. Man, how lame. Well, literally speaking, I did fall for him. But then suddenly, Naruto appears in front of me, and instead of falling on the cold, hard ground, I fall onto Naruto's sea, which, like his jacket, is warm and comfortable as well. Wait a minute, there I go again. Sigh. Anyway, whenever I looked up at him, it was like I was paralyzed in those sea blue eyes. I whispered his name in confusion, wondering if there was something wrong. And then, he Kami. I couldn't believe it. Naruto was Kami. Man, I knew he liked me, but I never thought. Then, something else happened. I felt different, as I closed my eyes and started responding to the K, my arms pushing up against his C, then wrapping around his N as he pulled me closer to him. But then I felt his tongue, in my mouth. But at the moment, I really enjoyed it as I fought his tongue with my own, tasting him as he tasting me. Ramen, shoulda guessed. His legs wrapped around my own, pushing our hips together, giving me a sensation that I've never felt before. My hands wrapped up around his N, my fingers brushing over the hair at the nip of it, all the while still making out with him. Suddenly, he pulled away, both of us panting. I knew that my face was probably as red, or pink, as my hair, and seriously, I wanted to go on. "Sa Sakura-chan," he said through his pants. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know what came over me. After he said that, I knew he was right. What the hell was I doing? Here I am, making out with Naruto, who I only like as a friend, I think. But besides that, I love Sasuke-kun and we haven't even gotten close to doing this. I slowly got up off him, immediately feeling cold, though not as much as I would, thanks to the jacket. I hugged it closer to me, the smell of Naruto and ramen radiating from it as I sighed inwardly. And now, here I am, walking towards my house with Naruto close behind, just in case. I smiled. Maybe there are some emotions here after all. I had a burning sensation inside of me. And I hated it. As I stormed through the village, people stepped aside to let me by. I guess they didn't want to get in my way. Hey, I wouldn't want to either. Her words rang through my ears. I tried to forget, but I just couldn't. Led you on Naruto. Grr, I growled out, grabbing my head, fingers pulling at my hair. I stopped as I remembered her fingers going through it, how good it felt, how. I stopped walking. I just couldn't take it anymore. I yelled out before jumping off, running over rooftops, anything to get farther away. But, I soon realized that I was running in circles. I stopped, standing on a rooftop of who knows where. I sat down on it, soon going to lie on it, arms and legs spread out. I breathed out, seeing my breath in the air as I looked at the moon high in the air. Must have been there for at least 2 hours. I felt my eyes water up, but I just couldn't cry. I was sad. Sadder than I've been before. Sakura-chan had actually made out with me, and then, she tells me it's a mistake. I sat up, feeling that burn again. I grinded my teeth together, having a need to punch something. Really bad. Tired of all this running, I placed my hands together in a seal and puffed to my place. I landed inside my apartment, seeing a mess, and having a need to break something. The next few parts one don't really remember. All I do remember is that the next day, the neighbors were very mad at me. Because I punched a hole right through the wall. Sakura's POV. I watched Naruto leave, and it was like a bad soap opera all over again. I really wanted to stop him from leaving, but for some reason, my legs wouldn't move, no matter how much I wanted them to. And his words confused me as well. We all make mistakes, Sakura, even me. But don't worry, I've learned from this one. Was I a mistake? One that Naruto made him liking me. I stood there like an idiot, thinking that Naruto would jump back in with a smile on his face, all of it just a trick. But it wasn't. As the wind blew through the still open door, something dawned on me. Well, two things actually. First, I realized that he didn't call me Sakura-chan in the last sentence before he left. Did that mean he didn't like me anymore? Then, I realized what I actually said to him. I shouldn't have led you on, I thought. What could it? I gasped, as I knew what my words must have done to him. When I was making out with him, he must have thought I liked him more like I do with Sasuke, but when I stopped thinking as I realized what I now have to do. I jumped over the couch and ran out the door, closing it, as I began my search for him. I never bothered to bring my jacket. Because I had Naruto's. Smiley face, winking face. I came home tired, hungry, and cold as I crashed onto my bed upstairs. My parents were asleep, but I knew they would have a fit tomorrow when they found out. I had searched all night for Naruto and with no luck. I sighed, turning my head to the side to look at Naruto's jacket, taking it off me and gripping it. I held it close to my the only thing that closely resembles Naruto now at the moment. I had no idea whether I liked Naruto more now or not. All I cared about was telling him I was sorry. I didn't even care about Sasuke at that moment. I quietly sobbed myself to sleep as the sun crept up into the sky. Naruto's POV. I opened my eyes and sat up in my bed, watching the sun come in through the window. I sighed as I ran a hand through my hair, looking down at the ground. At that moment, I made a promise to myself that I would never break. Don't worry, Sakura. You're one mistake I won't make again. Naruto's POV. It has been 2 days since it happened. I hadn't seen Sakura since. And since we didn't have any missions in those 2 days, I avoided her. Today we did, so there was no avoiding her today. She'll probably be too busy talking to her precise Sasuke anyways. I sighed, walking down the street. I would have stuffed my hands in the pockets of my jacket, but then I remembered I didn't have it. I had decided to leave it at Sakura's house. She should at least have something to remember the old me. Or at least the moment. I didn't see her up there as I walked up, seeing Sasuke lean against the bridge, as usual. I walked over to the other side, draping my hands over the edge as I looked into the water, seeing a pitiful Naruto in return. What's the matter with you, loser? And why don't you have your jacket on? Sasuke asked in his usual irritated voice. Nothing you should worry about, Barker, I said quietly in return, still looking at my reflection. I could feel his reaction staring me in the back and I smiled. I could hear some shuffling of the feet coming my way and I turned my head slightly at it. I heard them stop and I turned completely to look at the person. Sakura. Her green eyes were so big, it looked like she'd been crying the past 2 days. And she was wearing my jacket as well. All the way on. Naruto? She asked hesitantly. I could tell she was scared about me probably. She hugged my jacket closer to her as I just stared at her, not bothering to say anything. Naruto? She asked again, walking towards me. Her hand reaching out to touch my shoulder. If she touched me, I'd break for sure. I'd start loving her again. I couldn't do that to her or me. This is the reason I've been avoiding her all this time. I've got to move before she. Good morning, students. Sorry I'm late. I got stuck on the road to life and had to take the long way to get here. Sakura pulled her hand back as all 3 of us turned to look at Kakashi-sensei. I would have yelled at him, yeah right. But right now, I wasn't in the mood. We have to go back to He-Wave country to get some supplies for Leaf, Kakashi-sensei explained. That's all? Sasuke asked, probably annoyed at such a useless mission. Kakashi smiled with his one eye and nodded. That's right, so let's hurry. The next volume of my book is coming out soon and I don't want to miss it. I walked off first, waiting to get out and away from here as fast as possible. Sorry Sakura-chan, but this is the best. For both of us. Sakura's POV. I had finally found him. I had found Naruto after 2 days. I've worn his jacket since, but now that I have, I think he's been trying to avoid me. Why? You idiot, you know why. You crushed his heart more than what Sasuke could ever try to do. Sigh. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry. And I promise, before this mission is over, I'm gonna tell you. Sasuke's POV. Only one thought crossed my mind. What the hell is going on? Sasuke's POV. Sigh. Where do I start? Well, first off, she's mine. Point blank. She just doesn't know it yet. Well, I didn't have to worry about it because she liked me and would do anything for me and all that. But now, she's left me. She left me for Uzumaki. Me. No one leaves Uchiha Sasuke for someone else. Especially if it's someone I love. Sakura's POV. Ever since we got back from that mission to the Wave Country, things have changed. Most of them for the better. One very, very good thing that happened is that I realized what must have been dormant emotions for him because Naruto-kun and I are going out. But then, Sasuke started acting strange. He's been talking to me more than he usually does. And I mean really talking. Answer, now, my feelings for Sasuke are coming back. Wait, did they even leave? Oh, I don't know. I like both of them and that's horrible. I'm like a slut. Oh god, I'm horrible. Okay Sakura, clam down. You just need a second opinion on this. Yeah, that's exactly what I need. Okay, now all I have to do is find Ino. Now, the only problem is, where the hell is Ino? Sasuke's POV. Well, it's been like hell. I don't keep track of the days unless we have a mission ahead. Well, it's been a few days. Let's just leave it at that. Now, I had just finished training by myself, again, and was currently walking back, a towel wrapped casually around my n. And all the girls were like, ooh, Sasuke. You look so hot when you're sweaty. Oh, can I touch your towel, your sweat? Please, please, please. But, of course, I paid no mind to them. There's only one girl for me. And that's Sakura. Speaking of her, I turned my head to the left to see her running, apparently very flustered. Using my quick speed, I disappeared from my rabid fangirls to pop up in front of her, immediately stopping her movements unless she wanted to run into me. Which I probably wouldn't have minded. Sasuke, Sakura said, surprised as her cheeks turned pink. Sakura, I said softly, my hand coming up to hold her cheek. You feel warm. You're not getting sick, are you? Ah, Sakura said before she began stuttering, her words merging together. I smirked, which made her turn even redder. She looks so cute when she's surprised. I pulled my hand away before stuffing them in my pockets like always. I watched her as she quickly wiped her face with the back of her hands, probably trying to get rid of the blush. When she looked back at me, I was still smirking and that blush appeared right back on her face. I chuckled to myself, slightly shaking my head some. Her face changed from blushing red to angry red as she clenched her fists, yelling to me, "What's so funny?" I shook my head, sighing, as I simply replied, "Nothing, just watching my favorite Kanoiki get mad at the one she loves." I said the last part with much gusto. Maybe she'll remember loving me and forget about that loser. FA favorite? She asked, surprised. Well, sure, I said, shrugging. You're my teammate, and we've gotten to know each other so well, I've come to respect you. Out of all the female ninjas in this village, you're my favorite. Wow, she said, looking up at the sky. I'm your favorite female ninja and I was getting mad at you for. She stopped her speech as she looked at me with wide eyes. Sakura, what? I said, thinking an enemy must be nearby for her to act like this. Sasuke, she started, her voice serious as she just looked at me. I'm sorry, but I love Naruto-kun now, not you. The mere thought of her placing a-kun on his name when it should only be on mine enraged me. Right as she finished, I launched myself at her, pushing her up against the nearest tree, pinning her there as my body pushed up against her. She let out a gasp as she probably felt her back being against a tree, but it didn't hurt. We've done worse at training. Oh really? I said with my famous smirk on my lips. Are you sure you don't like me anymore? I questioned, empathizing sure, by squeezing RB closer. Ah, yes, no, maybe, she said, ending it with a squeak. Well, to me, it sounds like you still have, more than teammate, feelings for me, I said, bringing my face in closer so our noses were just barely brushing. Her cheeks turned pink when I did that, and even more when I smirked at her again. Especially when you blush. Well, she said, looking down while she began to stutter. I lifted both her arms above her head and shifted the one in my right so my left hand was holding both her wrists above her in the air. I used my free hand to grab her chin, pulling her face up so she had to look at me. Come on, Sakura. You can tell me. It's just the two of us here. Alone. Besides, I doubt you want to be later than you already are to where you're going, I said, making her blush even more. Come on. This is too easy. Well, now that you said something about it, yes, I still have feelings for you, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said, her eyes looking right into mine. God, her eyes are so pretty. That's what I thought, I said to her as my lips pressed roughly against hers. Anything that she wanted to say were left futile. Before she even knew what was happening, the K had ended and I was now pressuring on a certain spot on her N. Sasuke-kun. What? Was all she said before she fell unconscious for a few moments. She'll wake up in probably 3 minutes, I thought as I gently laid her against the tree. I parted her hair on the left side of her N, right if she was looking at it, and leaned my head down, my teeth biting down on it hard. I heard her gasp out in pain as I licked the B slowly away from the mark. I lifted my head up to look at it. 2 teeth marks. Perfect, I thought as I finished licking the B off it and placing her hair back around it, covering it from anyone who might want to see. I licked her cheek before disappearing, not wanting to be around once she woke up. Next time you see her, Uzumaki, she'll be in my grasp, not yours. Sakura's POV. I woke up moments later after I fainted. At least I think it was moments. Ugh, what the hell, I said aloud as I gripped my right shoulder, the joint seeming to hurt more now for some reason. Maybe it's just from this uncomfortable position on the tree. How did I get like this anyways? Oh yeah, Sasuke did this. One moment I'm talking to him and then the next, he pushes me up against this tree. Why? And then, he came and makes me pass out. Why? What did I say? I'm sorry, but I love Naruto-kun now, not you. Maybe Sasuke likes me. I shook my head. No, it's just the other way round. Sigh, I'm so confused. I love Naruto-kun, but now, I also love Sasuke-kun. I really need to talk to Ino. Smiley face, P winking face. Ino, I yelled, coming into the flower shop. Just a minute, she said cheerfully. She must think I'm a customer. Come on, Shika-kun, stop. I have a customer to attend to, I heard her say from the back. Sigh, whatever, you women are so troublesome. But that's why you like me. Ino soon came out of the back, pulling down some at the bottom of her shirt, followed soon by Shikamaru, and I could guess at what they were doing back there. But I didn't really want to. So Ino, are you ready to help instead of messing around with your boyfriend? I asked as she jumped at my voice, not knowing that the customer was me. Forehead girl, she said, surprise. What are you doing here? I sighed. I need your help, Ino. Her face softened at my sympathy. Oh Sakura, is it a girl thing? I simply nodded my head as she turned to Shikamaru. Shika, can you watch the store for a while? She asked. Sigh, fine. But you owe me, Ino, he said simply. Don't worry, I will, Ino said in her S before I dragged her off. I didn't feel like watching Ino make goo-goo eyes with her boyfriend. Sakura, what's your deal? Ino yelled out while struggling. Listen, I said once we were alone in the back. I need your help. On what? She asked. Look, you have a boyfriend who loves you. What's the deal? It's that, I yelled out. I sighed. I like Naruto-kun. I really do. But the problem is, I like Sasuke-kun too. Oh, Ino said, now understanding as she sat down and motioned for me to sit as well. I just don't know what to do, I said, my eyes watering as I buried my face in my hands. I'm so confused. There, Ino said softly, her arms cradling me around my shoulders like a good friend would while I cried my eyes out. And we just stayed like that for a while, Ino not saying anything while I let it all out. Once I finally finished, it was Ino's turn to talk. Look Sakura, I can't tell you which man to choose as you love more. You know yourself that Naruto probably cares more. What you have to do is sit down and think. Think about all the fun times you've had with both of them, alone and together. Then think about how they feel about you. Then, I know it'll be hard, but think about how you feel about them. Which is stronger? And then, you'll know. I simply nodded as I looked up at Ino and smiled at her. She smiled back. And you know you can come to me if you need any help at all. You bet I will, I said as I got up. Now, go home, find a nice, quiet, peaceful place to sit, and think, Ino instructed. I nodded. Right, she smiled. Let's get back. Shikamaru's probably wondering what the hell's taking so long. Smiley face, winking face. What the hell took so long? Shikamaru asked as we both came out of the back room. We giggled to ourselves, as Ino said, nothing Shika. He sighed and I waved goodbye to Ino as she started talking to him again. As I got outside, I breathed in some of the air. I felt better some, now that I've talked to Ino about it. Now, time to go home and... Hey Sakura-chan. I heard from behind me. No, not now. I would love to see Naruto-kun, but not right now. He wrapped his arms around my waist and pulled me into his sea. I looked up to see him looking down at me. Hey Naruto-kun, I said simply. He smiled as he leaned down to give me a K, which I happily replied back to. Ino's therapy can wait. Author's POV. As the couple K happily in front of Ino's flower shop, a pair of eyes watched them. Sounds familiar, eh? Uzumaki, you may have her now, but you better enjoy it while it lasts because it won't last for long. Hey. Naruto's POV. It was fine that Sakura had something to do. I did as well. Maybe she forgot. Nah, Sakura-chan would never forget our anniversary. She'd probably think I would though. That's how I'll surprise her. I walked down the streets and before stopping in front of a store, I peered into the window to see if it was still there. A diamond necklace. I smiled, remembering what Sakura had said. Flashback. Sakura and I were just walking along one day when she ran out of my arms. I smiled as I followed after her. I looked to see what she was looking at in the window of this store. It was a jewelry store. What are you looking at, Sakura-chan? I asked, looking into the window as well. This, she said, pointing to the necklace. Wow, that's beautiful, I said quietly as we continued to look. Yeah, it is. I've always wanted it, but I've never had the money, Sakura said before turning to me. You know, this would make a very nice present, you know. She said in her voice. I chuckled. Maybe. End flashback. Sakura, I love you so much, I thought to myself, still looking at it. I stood back, going through my pockets, checking to see if all my money was still there. I've been saving this up since I was little, but Sakura deserved it. Seeing it was all there, I went inside. Smiley face, winking face. I sighed happily coming out of the store, holding a black velvet box in my hands. Now, to Sakura's. She won't mind me coming up on such short notice, seeing what day it is and all, I said to myself before doing a few hand signs and, puffing, right in front of Sakura-chan's house. I knocked on it and placed a smile on my face, holding the box out while ready to say, Happy anniversary Sakura-chan. I waited, and waited, and waited some more, but Sakura never answered the door. I knocked again. Sakura probably just didn't hear it the first time. But she still never answered. Now I'm confused. Sigh, well, Sakura won't mind me just coming in, will she? Besides, if she gets mad, this present will calm her down. I sighed before slowly reaching for the knob. Smiley face, winking face. I gasped. I couldn't believe what I saw, or was seeing. There was my girlfriend, in the hands of that bee, and worse, they were making out. Now I know that Sakura was having a hard time figuring out her emotions for the two of us, but damn it. She is my girlfriend, and I'm not giving her away to Sasuke. I let out a small growl, my fists clenching. Naruto. It's not what it looks like. Sakura yelled out to me, her arm outstretching towards me. Oh yeah right. I spat back at her. She would have ran into my arms. I knew she would. And would have gladly let her. After all, I still loved her. But that bee grip on her waist tightened, telling me body-wise that she was his, and she wanted him, not me. Was he wrong? My anger soon s down quicker than I thought, my heart aching at the scene, making my emotions throb with sadness, no matter how mad I wanted to be at the moment. My eyes wanted to cry, as me. But I couldn't. Not in front of Sakura-chan. Not in front of him. I dropped the box in my hand, the contents falling out of it. I loved Sakura-chan so much, it hurt. I planned to give her a diamond necklace, for our 1-month anniversary. She would never have believed that I remembered. But I remember everything that has to deal with her. With us. The necklace was one more step towards my goal of marrying her one day. I knew she would have loved it. Every part of it. But now, I just couldn't do it. Now after what I saw. Sakura, I loved you. How could you? I said to her, to them. Yes, I said loved. I still love her, I always will. But will she always love me? That's what I have to find out. Naruto, please. Just listen. She yelled to me again, but I couldn't. I'm sorry, I said quietly, almost too quiet for me to hear, but I didn't care. I turned and ran, out of the house, and out of her life. Forever. Sakura's POV. I knew Naruto was there. I could feel him. I knew he would find me. But I would have never thought it would have been this fast. I had pulled away from Sasuke when I heard him, seeing his face, a mixture of anger and hurt. Naruto. It's not what it looks like. I said to him, reaching out to him while trying to reach out of Sasuke's grasp, but his arms tightened more around my waist, pulling me closer to him more than I already was. Oh yeah, right. He said back to him, his voice different than it usually sounds towards me, harsh and like acid stinging my skin. I never meant for any of this to happen. I didn't mean to break his trust. But my emotions for the two of them were driving me crazy. I went for a walk and wound up finding Sasuke, and somehow, we ended up like this. I heard, and saw, whatever Naruto was holding his hand, he dropped. I gasped whenever I saw it. A diamond necklace. He remembered. I would have cried, but I couldn't. I would have ran into his arms, but I couldn't. I couldn't do anything. And now I feel worse. Sakura, I loved you. How could you? He said to me, his voice barely above a whisper. That broke my heart. He doesn't love me anymore. Naruto, please. Just listen. I yelled to him. He couldn't mean that, could he? He never answered me as he turned and ran off. I had to find out if he really didn't love me anymore. That was it. I didn't care about Sasuke anymore as I finally got out of his grasp and ran out after him, calling his name. Now I think I know who I really love. Sasuke's POV. I smirked. Everything was going according to plan. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.